Let me just hit record. So when you go to agent.kw.com, you will go to this screen and you will log in with your KW login that you have for all your other websites. So for the mykw.kw.com, it'll be the same login. So just click sign in. And this will take you to your homepage. There's a lot of information here, so we'll kind of walk through everything. The way I'm going to do this is kind of run through everything along the top, the homepage, and then we'll start down the left-hand side. So here at the top, you have your command, which is going to be your main day-to-day CRM and transaction tool. To the right, we have Connect. And Connect is going to be more of a social platform. It's really built with the idea of kind of replacing our KW FA mission control, where agents can share new listings, ask questions, and be a resource hub for the entire agency, as well as being able to connect with different groups. So you should automatically be a part of the Atlanta Sandy Springs office group, which is going to be First Atlanta. But then you should also be a part of the Southeast region. So you can see here, this is my timeline, just a couple posts that people have put within the Southeast region. They haven't done a lot of building out of Connect in the last couple months. They've really been focusing on Command. But in the next couple months, this is expected to be more robust in its offerings and hopefully long-term replace our use of Facebook. Then going over to the right, if you were on a team, you would have a drop-down menu right here that you could select, toggle between your personal login as well as your team login. But if you're not on a team or you haven't set that up yet, you wouldn't have a login or a toggle there. Next is going to be the marketplace. And the marketplace is where you can go to add additional tools that can be added on to Command. So knowing that a lot of agents use different CRMs or different text messaging tools, you can add those in here. The APIs have been built into Command, so you just come in here, you can search by category and find ones that you want to add. I'm just clicking through here. So, if you have GoDaddy Google or GoDaddy domain registration, email. So anything that you want, and you can search here, and then you can also go through a list of all applications. So if you have any tools that you want to add on, this would be the place to search here. All right. So to the right of the marketplace is a bell with a red dot on it, and this is going to be your notifications center. So anytime that you submit a contract for compliance or you receive a message or have a new lead, you will have a red dot right here on that bell, and this is going to be your notification center. So you can see here, my compliance event has been approved, and then I also exported some contacts here, so you can see that that was a notification as well. To the right of that, we have our drop-down menu, so we can click on our profile, settings, training, or log out, and we will jump into that in just a minute. And then over here, we have a question mark, and I want you to pay special attention to the question mark, because this is going to be a resource for you as you are playing in Command and getting used to everything. This is where you can click on come down to Keller Williams University. So if you have any questions about how to do something in Command and you've reached out to me, or it's just a simple question and let's say I haven't gotten back to you, you can click on Keller Williams University and you can start to search all the information here. So I can just search landing pages, click enter, and I will have step-by-step tutorials on how to build a landing page, create a testimonial landing page, capture landing page. So that is a resource there for you at Keller Williams University. Then let's say you are having an issue, something's not loading properly, you keep getting an error message, you can click here and chat with support. So click on that, and it should load. Sometimes like it is weird and it doesn't pop up, so you have to click it a couple times. Let me come back into Command and let's see if that makes a difference. Chat with support. So click on it. This chat bot opens up, and it will kind of quickly give you a couple different options of the most common issues people are having. But let's say these don't work for you. You can click Get in Touch, and then it will give you the option to live chat. So if you want to live chat with a labs tech, you can sit here, and usually it'll put you in a queue. There'll probably be a little bit of a wait to talk with that tech, or you can leave a message. I would recommend that you leave a message, and this will open up a email window. And the reason I recommend leaving a message is because they will send you a ticket, an email ticket, so that way you can have you can keep track of the correspondence between you and support for your issue. So if you haven't heard back from them in a couple of days, you can respond to that email and it'll have all the ticket information right there. And it would be the easiest way for you to manage that support ticket. So you would just fill this out here, put in the information, description. And then one thing that's great here is that if you have a video, so if you want to take a Loom video of the issue, you can add the URL here. Or if you have screenshots, you can add up to 5 attachments. So you can include screenshots to let the tech support know exactly what's going on. So I think that's really helpful. So I'd always recommend submitting a ticket there. And then if you are also playing around in Command and you see something that like doesn't work right, or you think that there is a better way to do something, you can post an idea here. So just click on that, and then you'll be able to post an idea, and this will be included on a larger message board, and other Command users can go in and start to vote on that idea. So if they think it's a really great idea, they'll start to vote it up, and the more votes an idea will have, the more likely the tech labs support team will start to work on that idea and implement that into Command. So that is a great way there to get your ideas across. I'm trying to close that, but it is not closing. Let me just hit refresh here. And then also I want to point out that in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this little bubble here that says support. So you can click on there, and that'll also open up that chat window. So if you want to get into support, you have multiple ways to do that. All right, so now we are on the main homepage of Command. There's a lot of information here, but this is really just supposed to be a quick place that when you log into Command every morning, you get all of your information right here. So right here is your task window. So if you create a task, so if you are working with a contact and you say, oh, I need to create a CMA for that task or for that client, you can set a task to remind you to do that. Or if you have a contact in an opportunity that's kind of working their way through the sales funnel, that'll automatically load tasks for you to take care of that day. This is just a great reminder to help you manage your workload for that day. And you can click between contact tasks and opportunity tasks here. So that's what I was saying earlier, that if you have an opportunity, so if someone's in that sales funnel for you and you know that you're about to set the appointment, you need to do some specific tasks for that person. It'll show up here to remind you. And you can also create a new task from right here. We'll walk through tasks in more depth this morning as well. To the right here, we have our design updates. KW spends a lot of time and money in designs. It's I think one of the most helpful, useful applets of the Command system, because basically you can go in and create these Photoshop professionally looking marketing materials all within Command. So you don't have to pay for Photoshop. It's going to be most similar to Canva and how it's laid out and the different tools that it has and its capabilities. And what's also great about designs is that you have the right to use all those images. So Keller Williams owns the licenses to all these images, so you don't have to worry about getting in trouble, having to pay a fine for using a copywritten image. So here is just going to be all of the updates that you have going on in Command. Scrolling down, we have our goals versus actuals. So every year you can go through and set up your goals in reports, and that will be included in a later Take Command class. And that way you can set up how many closings you want to have each year, which will require how many appointments, how many listings, how many buyers. And this is a great way to track how you are comparing to your goals. To the right, we have product updates. So the labs team is constantly making updates. So based on the support tickets that you put in, based on your ideas that you have, as well as technology improves and gets better, and we start to kind of see how agents are leveraging Command as well as other platforms, constantly making updates. So we want to make sure that you know what's going on in Command, and this is going to be the area where you can quickly see, okay, this week we've improved view for the commissions tab, ability to add agents to the opportunity from commissions tab. So just like quick things like that. And any big product updates that we have for Command, I will be sure to share with you as well in the Facebook group. I think there's a couple big ones that should be coming up pretty soon. And you can also toggle with what's new and then kind of what's next. Here, if there's anything big that should be coming up, I'll let you know. Scrolling down, so we have the database health comparison. So this is just a quick snapshot of the health of your database. So when you start adding contacts into Command, every bit of information you add has a score or a percentage that corresponds with that piece of data. So a name has 20%, an email address is 20%, a phone number is 20%, and the more bits of information you add, the stronger the health score is for that contact. So here, this is just going to be a quick overview of your full database and how it compares to agents in your market center. And this is just to let you know, oh, I need to focus on getting more phone numbers. I can see here that only 19% of my database has phone numbers. I need to get more of them. But, 2/3 of my contacts have email addresses. And then knowing that, the monthly neighborhood nurture plans are going to be really important for me, I need to go through and add more neighborhoods to my contacts. And you can change this, so if you want to compare to agents within First Atlanta, or you can come over here, agents in my state. So how do I compare to other agents in Georgia? All agents nationwide, and then agents in production brackets above mine. Not really seeing a lot of changes here. It's changing, so about average. So this is just a great way for you to know how the data in your database, how strong it is. It also can be a great reminder. So for me, I could, start sending emails and to the contacts I do have and say, hey, I'm updating my database. I'd love to get your phone number so I can stay in touch and provide the most up-to-date, relevant real estate news for you. So this could be a reason for you to touch your database. To the right, we have our notes section. So if you just want to leave a quick note, just put that here. This could be anything. This is only for you. No one else is going to see this. This isn't going to be shared with compliance. So if you just want to leave a quick note here, this is where you do that. And then on the bottom, we have our recent leads. So if you've manually input a new lead. So if you met someone at an open house, or let's say you have a paid Facebook campaign that is running, you got new leads that went into Command, this is where they would show up. So this is just to let you know, and these are your most recent leads. These are some of the contacts that you need to start nurturing that relationship to start building up that two-way relationship. One thing that's really great about this homepage is that you can customize it. So up here in the right-hand corner, you can click Customize Home. And you can see here, you can select and unselect all the different widgets that you can have on your home screen. So if you didn't want the notepad, you can just uncheck it and it goes away, or you can check it and adds it back, or you can move them around. So if leads is really important to you, you can move that up. You can move product designs down, notes up. You know, you can add goal versus actual above tasks. It all, and you can make it however is going to be most useful for you. So when you log into Command, you have all the information that you want at the tip of your fingertips. And it's just a real quick way to kind of set you and ground you in the work that you need to do that day and the information you need to have. So if you made any changes, just click Apply, and you would see those changes. So we've gone through our top menu here, gone through quickly through Command, Connect, Marketplace, Notifications, as well as Support, and then our homepage. Before I jump into settings, do you have any questions from anyone? All right.
Yeah, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is Nina Bell. I was just trying to rearrange my widgets, but when I go to put leads first, it doesn't do it. So did I miss something?
When you go to put leads first,
I dragged it onto. Oh, I was trying to put it over there on task. Will it go?
yeah, so just because the way that the shape of it, just, you know, move it straight up and leave it on the right and then click Apply. And then here will be your leads.
Okay, got you. All right, that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna go through our drop-down menu here and we'll jump into settings. So here we have our drop-down menu and I'm gonna say we'll just click. We'll start with profile here. So click on profile. And here, this is going to be our marketing profile, our part of our marketing profile. Most of this information should be preloaded for you, but you can go through here, just double check all the information, and you can click edit profile and make any changes here. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I am going to spend more time on our marketing profile, which is going to be where most of this information comes from. So below profile, we have our settings. So we'll click on that. And then now we'll kind of walk through all of the settings here on the left-hand side, and then kind of what everything means. So our first settings over here is Command Settings and Applications, which is where we are. And these are going to be those connected apps. So as I talked about earlier when we were in Marketplace, you can connect Command to a bunch of third-party apps that you can leverage within the system. Here is where you're going to have a list of all those connected apps. And I'll kind of walk through them and talk about which each one is. So if you want to add more integrations, you can click Connect More Apps, and this will take you to the Marketplace as well. So going from the top to bottom, DocuSign, I will actually skip over this one and come back to it in just a minute. So Facebook Post Scheduler. So if you have a Facebook business page, you can set Command to post content for you, organic content, at specific times. So let's say if you want to, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m., you want to post a piece of content. And Monday is going to be a market update. Wednesday is going to be a how-to. update, and then Friday is going to be some idea for plans to do for the weekend. You can go ahead and create all that content, put it into Command, and it will post all that piece, all those content pieces at the scheduled time. Now that is just organic content. So it's going to stuff that shows up naturally on your Facebook business page's timeline, not paid. Similar, but not the same. Next, we have Porch, which is a third-party app that we have as a part of Keller Williams. So if you are working with a seller and they need to make a bunch of updates to their house or get some repairs, this is a great way that you can get those estimates for them very quickly and very easily. The next two are Google Calendar and Gmail. And I would recommend that you connect these to Command. And this is going to give Command the ability to read your emails as well as your calendar, and they can connect that anytime you have an email exchange in Gmail with a contact, it will log that contact. So that way it provides a more thorough review of every single touch point you have with your contact. And let's say in 6 months, you get a question about something, you can easily go into your contact page for that person and it'll have all the emails right there. So you don't have to try to sift through and sort through your Gmail account. And the same thing with the Google Calendar. Let's say you set up your appointment on your calendar, it'll log that calendar invite on that contact card. Also, you can add events to your calendar from within Command. So it's just a great way to sync those your Gmail as well as Command, so that way you can have all of your touches and contact recorded appropriately. Scrolling down, we have our Twitter post scheduling. So if you're a big Twitter user, I'm not, so I don't have mine connected. But if you are, the same thing with the Facebook business page, you can set tweets to be posted at specific times. This may be great if you know that you're going to have an open house this weekend. You can go ahead and create that post so it posts automatically Thursday morning or Friday morning, and then again Saturday and Sunday as a reminder. So that way you can go about your business. You can be out showing homes, and that post will get sent out, so you don't have to worry about it. Scrolling down into productivity, eEdge, that was our old system that we used to use for the one that was provided for free through KW as our CRM and monthly newsletter. That actually is no longer supported through Command, so you don't have to worry about that. Next is Twilio. Twilio is the service that Keller Williams is using to send out text messages. So if you want to send out any text blasts, or you set up smart plans that use text messaging, Twilio is going to be the service that would automatically send that out. I do want to point out it does cost money. It's pretty cheap. I think it's like 1 cent per 10 text messages or something very, very, very cheap. So if you plan on using text messages as a part of your 36 touch or 8x8 or any smart plans that you put together, you will need to connect it here. Another thing I want to point out is that at the moment, you cannot text message through your phone number. So if you use Twilio, you can buy a local Atlanta area code and it'll send out that text message. But so if you're going to text your friends and family through Twilio, it's going to show up as a whole new number. So just keep that in mind as you think about adding Twilio to your services. The next is PieSync, and PieSync is used to connect Command to any other CRM or database provider that you have. So if you are using, let's say Real Geeks, and you're using a lot, their ads, and you're getting a lot of contacts through Real Geeks, you can set Real Geeks up to connect with Command. So anytime there's a new contact added in Real Geeks, it'll automatically add in Command. If you want to keep using Real Geeks, it can automatically update throughout the process. Or if you want to try to shift everything from Real Geeks or Lion Desk or any other CRM platform that you're using, you can do a one-time sync with PieSync. PieSync does cost money, but it's going to be probably the most simple and easy way to import a ton of contacts from another system. The next is Office 365. So if you're using Microsoft Office and Outlook for your email provider, you can connect that here. And this is going to be similar to what I mentioned earlier about Gmail, where it will log all of the email correspondence you have with a contact in their contact card. It's just a great way of managing all of that. So if you use Outlook, I recommend connecting that here. Continuing down, so marketing automation. So this is going to be where if you decide you want to do a paid advertising campaign through Command, this is how you connect that account. So different than what I mentioned earlier, where those are just scheduled organic posts, this is going to be if you want to do a paid ad. So here you would connect your Facebook business page from a paid perspective. Same thing with Twitter and Google AdWords. And Google AdWords is going to be search engine. So if you want to, if someone searches Realtor Atlanta, you can pay to have your ad be those top 2 posts or on the side of the Google homepage to help build your exposure. This is all here is for paid and requires you to spend money to have your ad seen by other people. The next is email services. The first one that we have here is Mailchimp. I'm going to give a little bit of history and context about Mailchimp and the difference between that and Command email. So Mailchimp is going to be your HTML email provider, and that is going to be the emails that have a lot of images in them, more of the newsletter type content that you would send. Mailchimp is best used when you are sending a single email to a lot of different people. Mailchimp is not set up to send individual emails to a lot of different people. So Command email, which was originally Mailjet, but is now automatically set up in our Command email is going to be what we use for our smart plans. So if you set up a monthly neighborhood nurture or an 8x8 that has any email correspondence, it's going to use Command email. It does support some HTML emails, but it's really going to be much more of a text-focused email.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
About that. I was trying to email from Command, just like send, do a test email to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get it. It wasn't in spam or anything. So is there something we should be doing, or like I actually went into the, my contact and clicked like the email to send the email message to them. And when I sent the message as a test or whatever, I didn't get anything back. So that was my concern. Are people going to get my messages out of Command? So
I actually do a whole training on the email, which as a part of one of the deep dive trainings. But to quickly answer your question, Command itself isn't really set up to just send out emails, which is probably why you didn't receive anything. I would recommend that you and I touch base after this or set up a Zoom call. And we can kind of walk through step by step to make sure that everything's set up correctly and you're using email within the platform as it's intended. But you can't really email out of Command.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
I'll touch base with you. Thank you.
Perfect. So Mailchimp, if you want to create those newsletters, you can do that. Command does have 2 newsletter templates within it, but you can also you can sync your contacts to Mailchimp directly, and you get up to 2,000 contacts and 1 audience within Mailchimp. So that's for free as a part of being a Keller Williams agent. Anything beyond that, if you want to have multiple audiences, so if you want to start breaking things down into 8 for buyers, sellers, agents, you start to have to pay for Mailchimp, and things have gotten pretty expensive. I do teach a email blast deep dive, which goes into setting up Mailchimp emails, as well as really briefly some smart plans. And then if you want to connect more apps, you can click that here as well. So these are going to be all of our connected services. For the command email, it should be automatically connected, but you can manage that here. Just click on manage and then update your name. So what you want your name to appear as when you, in someone's email inbox, and the reply to email. And then just hit save changes. So you should be all set up with your command email. So going down on the left-hand side here, we'll click on contacts. So the deep dive training for email blast will probably be in a couple weeks. I just did that 2 weeks ago, so I'll repeat that probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So clicking on contacts here, we'll go through each one of these settings. So contact archive. So let's say you were going through your contact in your database and you're like, oh, I have a duplicate, or oh, that person doesn't need to be in here anymore. You archive them, you don't just delete them. And that'll put them here in this contact archive. So in the event you're like, oh, I didn't mean to archive that person, they're still here. But if you're like, oh, you know what, I don't need this person anymore, then you can come in here and you can actually delete them, or you can restore them. So it's kind of a safe way to prevent you from deleting your entire database. It puts them into archive, and then you have to manually delete them. So I can hit delete here or delete selected permanently. This will delete archive. This will permanently delete these archived contacts. I'll click OK. And now that contact is gone forever. But I could select this one and restore it, and it would show back up in my database. The next we have is database wipe. And this should not be used regularly, but in the event, let's say you're like, I need to clean up my database. I just have all these contacts in here, and I have some uploaded from eEdge, some I've manually added, some have been uploaded from the CSV, and everything's a mess. You can archive all contacts, and that will go through, and that'll put all those contacts into the archive, and so you won't show as having any contacts. There really aren't many reasons you would need to do this. But let's say, you need to, you have the capability here. And similar to what I just showed you from that individual contact archive, you can then select delete all archived contacts, and that'll permanently delete those contacts. So then you won't be able to add them back into or restore them back into your database. But this is just something good to know in the event that you ever need to do a deep clean of your database. Custom tags. So custom tags are used in contacts and opportunities. They're the same premise but different for both sections of command. So for contacts, you can create custom tags to help manage and slice up your contacts. And you can do anything from how you know them, what part of town they live in, where they went to college, their favorite sports teams, do they have kids, dogs, cats, anything. And it's just a great way that if you are trying to set up maybe a ad campaign, or you want to send out an email blast to just a specific group of people, this is how you would be able to divide that really easily. And you can see here, I've just, we have a bunch of system ones that are created for us. Let me come down here and I'll show you a lot more that I've created. Show 100. So I've added ones for myself, former coworkers, classmates, if they live in-state, if they're friends, monthly newsletter from old coworkers from Coca-Cola, people I don't know well, out of state, people that have unsubscribed from my newsletter, people that live in Smyrna, so where I live. So if I want to send out something specifically for Smyrna, so you can really create any contact or any custom tag that you want. And there's two ways that you can add or create a custom tag. Within settings here, you can create a custom tag. You just start typing out whatever you want. And if you want to give it a color, so it's easily identifiable, you can do that here, or you can just select white and it won't show us anything. And then you just hit create. We can also create custom tags in the actual contact card, and I will show you that when we get there. If you want to create a custom tag for opportunity, it's the same premise. So it's just a great way that as you are tracking your opportunities, so your sales funnel and how those people move from start to closing and they actually close, you can then kind of see, okay, of my closed business, how does that break up? So for me, I created, custom tags based on the parts of town that they're in. So Atlanta, West End, how I know them. So if they're in my sphere of influence, investment properties. So you can, add all sorts of different tags here. So former coworker as well, for my opportunity. And another thing to think of when adding this is maybe price points. So if you want to see, how many transactions you have at the end of the year that close between 200 and 300, 300 and 400, you can add those price points as custom tags for your opportunities. So it's a great way to see how your business can break down, and that can also help with your business planning as you look for the next year to see where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses, where are those business gaps, and where are places you should work on for your next year. And the same way, if you want to create a new tag, you just click create new tag here, and it's the same process. Our next is custom fields. And custom fields are a little bit different from tags, because custom fields are going to be more of information you want to know about a large number of contacts. So for me, I've created a wedding anniversary custom field. So I can select wedding anniversary on a contact card as I'm updating that information, so I can keep track. So if I want to send out a happy anniversary card every year, or to send a quick note or write on Facebook, I have that information in that contact. To create a custom field, click create, and you can, put in whatever you want. Let's say a dog adoption. I guess we'll do gotcha date. And then custom field type. So it's a drop down here. So you can make this a text field. So if you want to just be able to type in whatever you want, text area, a drop down. So if you want to put in multiple selections, a date. So for me, for the wedding anniversary, it's a date. So it automatically puts in those date fields, checkbox, number, URL, percentage, currency. So you have a lot of options of what that information is that you want in that custom field. And what I think is also great, which has been recently added, is you can make this a default custom field. And what that means is that this custom field will show up on every single contact. So you don't have to go into custom fields and manually add it to that contact. And I'll show you that in just a few minutes when we go into those contacts. So you could even add here blog URL. And if that person has a blog, you can add that URL there, or you can do child's name, and you can just do a text area. So then you can start to track their kids' names. And you just hit create, and it will show up here, and it will also show up in your contact cards. Next is opportunity archive. So as you go through the sales funnel with your contacts, or you have closings and they close, you don't delete opportunities, you archive them, and they stay here. And that's for a handful of reasons. One is because you never know. Let's say you have a buyer that falls out of contract and you're like, hey, I'm going to wait. I don't want to buy this yet. I'm going to wait a couple months. You can archive that opportunity. And then let's say they come back, you can restore it. So you don't have to go through all that work of adding them, creating that contact or creating an opportunity or getting those buyer brokerage agreements signed again if they're still valid. But it's also important. So let's say you have a closing and then 2 years later, you have a client that's like, hey, I'm having an issue with XYZ. Can you double check the purchase and sale agreement, or there's a dispute? You can restore that opportunity so you can go back in and you have access to all those documents. So your purchase and sale agreements, your buyer brokerage agreements, any exhibits, and that's all right there. So that's another great way for you just to manage all this so you don't have to worry about saving everything on your desktop. It's going to be automatically stored in Command, because Lord knows everyone's going to have their computer that's going to crash, or you're going to get a new computer or lose it. So this is just a safe way to keep all those opportunities and that information in one place. So if you're in here, you can come up here and search. So you can search by address, or name, and it will start to sort through those. And then to restore, just click on Restore here. Over here to the left, going into Opportunity Settings. So Design Template, this isn't set yet. We're going to have the ability to set up a template for the emails that get sent out through opportunities to our contacts. So we'll be able to send out our offer comparisons as well as net sheets through opportunities. And this, we will soon be able to customize that so it has a specific look and feel, add our branding to it, make sure it has all the proper fields that we want to have included. Next, going through agent sites. So My Neighborhoods. So if you want to share, expertise on areas that you're familiar with, you can, add these here. So select neighborhoods, and you can just kind of go through and select those. So what did I select? It's kind of Lindbergh, so I don't really want that, but I could put, I'm an expert in Virginia Highlands, and then click next. And then you could select a landing page to use for Virginia Highlands. So that is just an option that if you want to start going through and making neighborhood pages of what you are an expert on, this is where you would do that. Landing page. So when you have a contact set up that has their address and you attach a neighborhood, each one of those contacts has their own individual landing page with all of that neighborhood information. And this is a quick preview of what that landing page looks like. So, and I'll show you this once we go into a contact card as well. So you can see here we have a map, and then we have our listings on the right. Scroll through here, and just an easy way for them to get in contact with us. And again, most of this information is being pulled out of our marketing profile, which we will walk through in just a moment. So right now, your only real opportunity to change this is to kind of go through and change the theme colors. So red, blue, or dark. And you can click Preview Landing Page. So this is just the pretend landing page based on Austin. Austin's going to be our main default for most things in Command. All right. Next is team data. So if you are on a team, so if you are a team leader or a rainmaker, you can set up your team in Command here. And so you just enter your team name, a quick summary, and then you can start to add agents to your team. And you just click save. And once you set this up is when you would be able to have that toggle bar here. So you can select between your team command as well as your individual command. You also work with the MCA office to make sure that everything is set up for your command with the team. Next, we have our import logs. So right here, and this is just going to be a log of every time you have uploaded a CSV file of your contacts. And it's just so that way you can make sure, okay, when did I make the last upload? You can download the file here to see if there was any corruption or to make sure that, you know, people were included or excluded. It's just a great way to see and manage your contacts here. All right, next is our connect settings. And this is going to be our marketing profile. And this is going to be one of the most important aspects for us to fill out within Command, because our marketing profile information gets pulled into so many different aspects of Command. So there's two different ways we can do this. Is we can go through a Kelly guide, which I can show you really briefly, as well as kind of start to add the information here manually. I'll show you both ways. But one thing I want you to do before we do anything is to click this toggle here that says use my information to brand my agent site. And you want to turn that so the toggle is green. And what this does is this allows Command to pull in the information from your marketing profile here into your agent website, your landing page, your profile page. So that way it can use that. It has permission to use this information on other aspects of Command. So make sure that is toggled green here. So briefly, I will walk through the Kelly guide. So click on the marketing profile Kelly guide, and this window pops up. So we'll get started. And it really is just going to be following through step by step. So we'll start with branded header. So if you want to have a branded header here, you can upload a photo. Or upload your team logo, double check, make sure all of your information here is correct. Click next. And then you want to update your personal photo here as well as our office photo. One thing to keep in mind that as you're uploading these photos, they need to be in this 360 by 360 pixel size. And that is to ensure that they render properly within these circles. They're going to be the same throughout the landing pages, market or agent site. The easiest way to do this is in either Designs or Canva. You can select custom dimensions, 360 by 360, and then you can size your logo and your headshot appropriately to fit in there to make sure it shows up correct. Otherwise, if you don't, it'll be stretched, it'll look weird, it'll have things cut off, and you don't want that. So scrolling down, we'll just want to make sure that all this information is correct. You want to include, anything that has a red asterisk, you have to include, but I would recommend including as much information as possible just to ensure compliance, because anytime that there's a property shown, we have to make sure that we have the office phone number and our phone number, and anytime there's our name, we need to include First Atlanta. So by having all this information included in your marketing profile, it is one more way to ensure that you are compliant. So scrolling down, continue to double check all this information. Here is your bio, credentials, realtor, social media. So if you have social media pages, you add those URLs here. So for Facebook, I use my business page. For Twitter, if you have a business Twitter account, LinkedIn, I just use my personal one, and same thing for Instagram. And then your KW or YouTube as well, sorry. If you have a YouTube channel that you post a lot of videos on, you can share that as well. And then your KW app link, it should auto-populate, but if it doesn't, I can show you later on how to get that specific URL. Legal footer here. I just put my name, Realtor with Keller Williams First Atlanta. So just ensure that there's another opportunity for my name and First Atlanta to be on the page. So configure accounts. So configure email. So if you haven't already set up and edited the command email in the connected app settings, you can do that here. Same thing with Twilio. So if you want to, you can go through and set up your Twilio account here, or you can do it in the connected app settings as well. Continue. Enable smart plans. I would recommend that you skip this for now unless you are familiar with smart plans. You can enable smart plans within the smart plans applet, so you don't need to do them here. So I would just click next. Summary. What's next? So that is completing the marketing profile. So once you're done with that, you can click the X here, and this will take us back into Command. And then we'll go up here to your name, drop down, settings, and then we'll click connect settings here, marketing profile. So all the information that you added to your marketing profile from within the Kelly Guide should show up here, but at any time you want to make any changes or fill in any additional information, you can make those changes directly here. So you can change your headshot, your team logo, all of your details about yourself, your bio. So if you want to, you have more space here, so it's easier to read, you can add anything you want. And then for Market Center logo, Scott Hardy has uploaded all of the logos for all the Rawls Group's offices to rawlsgrouphelpdesk.com. So if you don't have the most up-to-date First Atlanta logos, that's going to be a great place to get them. Command does have them uploaded, but it only has, I think, this version with a white background. So if you want to get the black and white version, as well as the full color one, and logo versions without backgrounds, you'll want to get that from the rawlsgrouphelpdesk.com. So just continuing to go through over here, making sure all of the information is correct. Our legal footer links, you don't have to add anything here. Some states require that you have links to specific pages or information, and then footer images. So if you want to add like equal housing or a realtor logo, you can add those here, and you can see recommended size of 128 by 48. And then the social URLs here. So if you want to add additional, excuse me, additional social pages that we didn't do in the Kelly Guide, we'll do that here. And then Facebook pixels and Google Analytics IDs. So if you are really into setting up paid campaigns and you want to track people that go from your ad to your website, you can add a pixel ID here, and that way you can track all the people on your website and retarget them on Facebook. This is pretty high level Facebook and advertising knowledge here. So if you need help with that, I'm happy to help, but this is, pretty detailed here. And then also our branded KW app down here at the bottom. All right. And so this should be it for our settings. Any questions on any of this information before we jump into contacts? All right. So we will jump into contacts. To do that here, we'll scroll over to the contacts icon. You can roll over each of the icons and it will show, the name of it will show up, or if you click on the KW in the corner, the menu bar will expand and you can click contacts there. So here is the contacts section of Command. You can see here I have all of my contacts listed. We have you know, the name, last visited, contact. I can customize the columns that will show here. So if there are specific bits of information that as I'm working with contacts, I can customize the columns here. I can also search for contacts here. So you can search by first name, last name, email address, or everything. So I prefer just to use first name, but whatever you want. Or if you want to search by filter, you can add filters. And this is kind of what I was mentioning earlier, that if you want to create these custom tags, you can search by custom tags here. So if I want to search for all people that went to Auburn University for whatever reason, let's say Auburn just had a football game and they won, and I want to send out a quick note that says, congrats on that great game, you guys just won. You can click apply. And now all the people that I have in my database that went to Auburn are right here. So I can easily send them out a message as well. And then if you want to clear them, you just click clear all and apply. So this is going to be your main screen within contacts. What's going to be most important is how to add a contact. So we're going to walk through this together. And if you don't have any contacts in Command yet, or you don't have yourself in Command, I recommend that as I'm creating this contact, you create a contact for yourself as well. So click Add Contact, and we will just walk through step by step of adding a contact. So if you haven't already, add yourself, and I'll just kind of, you know, create this for myself as well. I'm just putting my middle initial in here for now because I already have myself in here. So then, you know, add their full name. You'd want to add their email address and phone number. Owner. So if you're on a team, this is where you may change, you know, to have an owner, but if you're an individual agent, you will only have the option to have me as an owner. Mark as lead. So this is a little bit different versus a contact. So this is going to be someone that's a little bit more business focused, and I'll walk through that in just a moment as well. So you can go ahead and set this up as a lead or add to sales pipeline. And then tags here. So this is where you have a drop-down menu of all the tags that are the system tags or custom tags that you've already created. So you can go through and just scroll through and add any of them here, or you can just, you know, type in tags and they will start to show up. So I can select monthly newsletter, Smyrna, okay, dog owner. So I can just create all these custom tags. But let's say I want to add one. I think of one for this specific contact. I'm like, oh, this person is with First Atlanta. So I can create a KWFA tag, and then I can come right here. I don't have one, so it gives me the option to create custom tag. So create custom tag, I can select a color for it. Once I'm good, I can click add. So you can create those custom tags directly in this contact card. And now you can go through and you can add that KWFA or whatever that custom tag is to any client or any contact in Command. So once you filled in all this information, click add more information. Scroll down, select additional contact information. So let's say this person has 2 email addresses, or you want to add, you know, a secondary email. Maybe it's a work email or a work phone number. You can make that distinction here. So you can just add additional contact methods here. And then you can add in their street address. So start typing that in, and it will automatically populate the address based on Google. So this is going to be their home address. If this is their actual home address, I recommend you select same as mailing address. So in the event in the future you want to send out postcards, or you want to export mailing addresses, you'll need to have this selected as well. And then you can add their social profiles. So for here, Facebook is going to be the default one. So I recommend, if you have their Facebook contact to add them in here. And this will serve two purposes. One, it just is a great way that you can easily keep track of people's Facebook profiles, especially if in the future you somehow are no longer friends, you've unfriended them or unfriended you, you still have that URL. So you can just go look to see kind of what's going on with them. And also when you are, let's say in the future, you want to create a paid Facebook campaign and you want to target your database, this is going to be one more way that Command is able to connect your person in your database to a Facebook user and link those two to show that ad to that specific person. So it's beneficial from that way as well. So I recommend just using adding the Facebook URL there. You can add multiple social accounts. So you can add their Instagram account if you want to, or you can add, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you want. So the more the merrier. And each one of these little Facebook or social accounts that you add will add just a little bit of a score to that health score. Scrolling down, continue to the About section. So here, if they have a different legal name, you can put that here, a description. You can put anything that you want there. If you need a little bit more context, I used to work with this person. Marketing at Zenith Media. Very friendly. Whatever you want to put in there. And then you can add in their birthday. So this is going to be a drop-down menu. If you don't know the year of their birthday, you can just select this year. It doesn't matter. You can put whatever birthday in there. It doesn't matter. And then same thing with home anniversary. So especially if these are past clients, you'd want to include their home anniversary. But also, if they weren't past clients, where they're still in your sphere, it's helpful to know this, knowing that people on average buy a new home every 5 to 7 years. So this is a great way for you to keep track, because then you can, when you're searching or filtering for your contacts, you can filter for people that purchased their home 5 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, and you can start to send out specific information, giving them calls, text messages, starting to share with them information that they may, not even know that they're interested in, knowing that they're probably going to sell in the next or buy in the next couple of years. The easiest place to get this information is going to be out of Realist. So if you just go into Realist out of FMLS, you can, search their purchase date. So just, add that here. And another great thing about the birthday and home anniversary dates is if you have that information in Command, you can set up smart plans specifically for those. So Command can send out an email automatically on that person's birthday every year saying, happy birthday, I hope you're having a great day. And same thing with home anniversary. Congratulations, it's another wonderful year of you living in your home. And we'll set up reminders for you, moving or coming up to that date. So this information is really helpful in a lot of ways. So spouses. So you can add in spouses or any other contact here. So if you have an entire family, you can connect them all so they're related. So if you have someone already in, it's just almost. So if you have someone that's already in Command, it'll automatically populate and you can just click add, or you can just put I'll just make up a name here. So Alex McDonald isn't a person in here, and then you just click add, and it would automatically add Alex McDonald as a contact in Command and sync that person as a spouse or whatever relative you want. And you have a lot of options here. So you can put the whole family in here, even business partner. And you can add more than one as well. So you can add husband, wife, child, grandmother, business partner, all sorts of stuff in there. So you can get as detailed as possible. The next information you can add is their work name. So I always recommend the more information you can have about a person, the better. So you can just start by typing in the company name. If it doesn't pop up, you can create it. So you just hit create company, and then that would create the company there. And then you can type in their job plan, their job title here. And if you know the address, you can add that there. Sales pipeline. So if you want to add them, if they are a lead, how you got them. So captured, if you ran a Facebook ad, you capture their information or connected with them, and lead source type. And you can add all sorts of lead sources here and just scroll through. Now down here where it says custom, this is where those custom fields will show up. So for me, I added wedding anniversary and I made it a default field. So it's going to show up on every single one of my contacts. So I can, go through here and select wedding anniversary, whatever that date is. Or I can add a custom field here and I can manually add it there. So, but you do have to add the custom fields in the settings section of Command for it to show up in the contact card. So once you've added all that information here, you'd click create. I'm going to click cancel, but I'll go into my contact card. So you can see here how it looks like once you're in that contact card. So here is the contact for me, my phone number, email address. Scrolling down, see here is that neighborhood that is associated with that address. So let's say we previously walked through that quick preview of what that URL would look like. So if I click copy link here, and let's say I want to share this with that contact, come over here. And this is that specific URL for that contact. So that way, this would be my neighborhood where I live, and all the activity here, so they can see all the different lots and listings that we have for sale. Scroll through those. Click on, so just have all that information. So that is the importance of having that address in there. And then you can also, let's say they live on the edge of a neighborhood, you can add a neighborhood here. Just search. So obviously Reynoldstown doesn't make sense for me. I don't live anywhere near there, but just you can see how easy it is to, you can search there, or you can find it on a map and just zoom in if you wanted to, and I could add that Smyrna Heights neighborhood. And you can see down here how all that information loads. All right, now we have all the information here on the right-hand side. So first is going to be our timeline. And this is what's going to show every single interaction that we have with that contact. So when you've connected your Gmail and your Google Calendar, all those interactions, if they have downloaded your app, you'll know here because here's a green check mark, but it will show their saved searches, if they've done anything in the guide on the app, or if they've logged into your website. All that information is tracked here. So you can see here, here's email. You can view the email and it will load. I guess that's not loading correctly, but it should show, it should show that specific email. And then here it shows the updated disclosure. So I completed this step in the app. So this is what I was saying, where you can see everything that's going on with that person. Now, let's say you send that person a birthday card or just a condolence card. You want to keep track of that as well. So you can do that in two ways. You can click Add Activity here. So you can select the type of activity. So you can do a quick note or a text, whichever way you're going to remind yourself of what that activity was. Sent B-Day card, and did that person respond? Was that an actual interaction? You can click that there, and you just hit save. Or you can come down here to this big green check mark, and you can add an activity. So that same thing we just did. Or we can add a note. So this is just a note, any type of thing, a quick reminder or something that you just want to post about this contact. And then we can also add a calendar event. So let's say we want to add an event of, okay, we're going to appointment with Nicholas Core, Starbucks, assuming in a couple weeks or months when we can get together. So you can add that calendar invite directly from there, and it will add their contact information. So it'll save it and send that invite out to them. Let me just close this real fast. Leave page. So those are all the activities that you can add. And I always recommend the more information you can keep track of here, this is going to be great. So this will go back for as long, for years and years, and keep track of all those opportunities, all of those contacts. And so when you set them up on a smart plan or they download their app, it will still keep track of that. So you'll be able to say, oh, okay, I know that this contact received this monthly neighborhood nurture this day, or this 8x8 or whatever it was. To the right of that is opportunities. And so if you've added that person into your sales funnel, or you have a contract with them, this will let you know, okay, perfect. So I can see here that I have this opportunity with Nick as a buyer. Here's our stage and phase. So currently negotiating and a budget of $400,000. And you can search by if they're just using buyer if they're just a buyer or seller or least recent. So you can sort there. And then let's say you want to add them to an opportunity, you can create an opportunity right here, assuming this loads. But theoretically, yes, you can add this opportunity screen will pop up. So you don't even have to go into opportunities to go ahead and get this started for you. So you just fill in all the information here. And you would just create that opportunity, and that would automatically sync that here. So you can see there's a lot to do with our contact card here. Next, we have smart plans. So if you've added this contact to a smart plan, all the smart plans will show up here. I've added myself to the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. So this is the email that goes out every 2 weeks with updates on the neighborhood. You can also add someone to a smart plan directly here. So you will have had to add smart plans into your profile or into your portfolio of smart plans for them to be here to select it. That is a part of next week's training going into smart plans. So we'll talk more on that next Tuesday. Tasks. So you can add a task here specifically for this contact. And this is going to be, let's say I'm going to meet with this contact next week, and I can set up create a CMA, enter description, prepare for listing appointment on 5/1. And then you can create that task. And here you can set a due date. So let's say if my listing appointment's on 5/1, I want to do the CMA on 29th. So that way I have 2 days just to review it, make sure everything's great, and I can just create that task. And that'll show up there. And I'll also show you how this will pop up on the home screen as well. Next, we have our notes. So if we want to add a note, this is what I was showing you earlier, just kind of any little bit of information. I don't know, you could put anything here. So if you just want a quick update on the family or something happened, let's say a grandparent passed away, you could add a note here saying grandparent passed away on such and such date. So then you can, remind yourself before you see that person, oh, I'm so sorry about, your grandfather, or congratulations on that promotion that you got at work. That's really great. And then save searches. So if they've downloaded your app or they're using your website and they've connected the same email address, it'll show their saved searches here. So if you're working with this person as a buyer, you can come back in and look at all of the searches they have, the houses that they're interested in, and you can say, oh, hey, I saw that you looked at these 3 houses. Do you want to set up any showings this weekend or whatnot? So it's just a great way for you to keep in full view of everything they are doing from a home buying perspective. Now, over here, within our contact card, we can add them to a smart plan here, which we'll talk more about next Tuesday. And then here's the pencil, and you can edit. So at any time, you can come back in and you can edit this contact. Come over here. All right, so everything looks good, but I want to add my home anniversary date. So just hit save. So that's how easy it is to update your contact. And you can come over here to archive. So let's say you wanted to archive this specific contact, just click on that archive button, and then you'd hit archive there. And like I talked about earlier, it wouldn't delete that person. It would just put them in the archive. So you could go back and double check and make sure, okay, is this really the person that I want to archive? So this is all the information from within the contact card. So there is a lot here. Command is set up so that way it shows all of that information in one place. So you don't have to go searching through multiple different systems, through multiple Excel documents, and then go from Excel to your email, to your calendar, to e-edge. It's all in one place, so you can see everything right here. So going back to our contacts, I'll just go back to all of our contacts. There's a couple activities that you can do called bulk adds. So let's say you want to add a tag to a bunch of people at one time. So you can select multiple people here, and then this window will pop up, or this drop down and say select bulk action. So you can archive all of those people at once. You can send a bulk SMS. So if you have Twilio set up, you can send out an SMS. So this is kind of what I was saying earlier. Let's say I selected everyone that went to Auburn. I can send out an SMS to everyone that says, hey, congrats on your win today. Go War Eagles or Tigers or whatever. You can add bulk tags. So let's say I want to add a tag to all of these people. We'll just come over here, scroll down and pick the tag I want to add, and then hit submit. You can also add to an email list. So if you want to create a Mailchimp email list, you can select all of these contacts here. You can share them. You can mark as leads, unmark as leads, add to a smart plan, export, and export mailing labels. At the moment for exporting, you can only export up to 50 contacts at a time. Same thing with mailing labels, which is kind of frustrating because if you have 1,000 contacts and you want to create mailing labels, it can be cumbersome. In the next couple of weeks, we should have the ability to export all contacts at once. Labs has heard loud and clear from a lot of agents that they want the ability to export everyone at one time. So that is the bulk adds. So I showed you how to manually add a single contact. The next is to import. So let's say you have all of your contacts on an Excel document, or you've exported them out of your current CRM. you can import all those at one time. So you don't have to sit there and manually add hundreds of contacts at once. And in order to do that, you'd click on import right here. And this pop-up window will show up where you would drag and drop your CSV file. But you have to use the specific CSV file that is provided from Command. And to get that, you'd click download the pre-made CSV right here. So I'll quickly open this to show you. So hopefully you can still see, you can see the CSV file. But it has all the information laid out in a specific format to be read by Command. So first name, middle name, last name. Scroll over. Actually, that way you can read everything. Phone number, and you can start adding address here, company address, key dates, all this information. So if you have all of that information in another Excel document, what you'll have to do is go through and copy paste each one of the columns from that spreadsheet into their respective columns on this spreadsheet. And then you also have to make sure that there are not any commas in that data, because this is a CSV, so it's a comma separated value. So if you have commas in your data, it will prevent it from uploading correctly. So that is how you would upload multiple contacts at once. And if you're playing around with that, by all means, reach out to me. I'm happy to help any way that I can. So that is it for contacts. Before we move into tasks, I want to see if there are any questions from anyone. All right, well, we will jump into tasks. So the next applet within Command is tasks. So it's gonna be right here on the left. So click on here. So we have contact task and opportunity task, and we'll talk through both. So right now we're in contact tasks, and it's showing all my tasks that I have set up that are due today, or things that need to be due today. But you can change that to show for the next 7 days, next 30 days, past 7 days. So you can adjust the time range, and you also have a custom range here. So if you want to look at everything from the 1st through today, click that. Next 7 days. So this is going to be all the tasks that you have. Remember when I was in my contact card and I created that task to create the CMA? That shows up here. And that'll be a status of undone. And then you have the ability to snooze that. So I can snooze it, and I can add a day, snooze it for a day or two, or I can change that due date. So let's say I want to change that due date to Monday the 4th. I don't know why it's not snoozing, but why it's not selecting that date, but you can snooze for a couple days. So now it'll show that it is due on the 2nd. So if you want to complete it, you would select this box here, click that, and this complete task will pop up, so you know that you've taken care of this, so it won't show up on your tasks anymore. Once you've completed it, it'll show up over here in your completed tasks. So this is just a great way to know, okay, these are everything I've done. I can mark it off my to-do list. And then any archive tasks will show up here. If you want to create a new task, come up here to the create new task and fill out this information. It's going to be the same as what we did in the contact card. It's task name, description, you can add a hyperlink. But since we're not within a specific contact card, we can associate contacts with it. So just search their name, and then I can add their contact here. And then hit associate contacts. So now this task, follow up about CMA, and I'll make this due for next Thursday. Now this task will have my contact associated with it. And then just hit save. We'll give it a second and it's being slow. Perfect. To do, let's do next 7 days. All right. I don't know why it's not showing up. It should have showed up here, but it did not. And then over here we have, I guess, settings. We can't change any of that. Next I want to talk about is opportunity tasks. And I'll be pretty brief because this is TCO3 is where we jump into opportunities get like really deep into them and set up all of the phases and stages. But throughout that sales funnel of opportunities, each one of those phases and stages have specific tasks that you are responsible for. And they're just great ways to automate, oh, if I know that this person is at this stage of the process, we're getting ready to look at homes, they need to get a pre-qual letter, they need to do X, Y, Z, and then Command will send those opportunity tasks to remind you, reach out to your contact about getting that pre-qual letter, send list of lenders to contact. So these will show up here based on where your client is or your contact is in that sales funnel. And it's gonna be the same process. You can click complete here, you can snooze it, you can change the date there. So that is going to be your opportunity task. And the same functionality for the next 7 days, 30 days. These all show as past due because these are all from test accounts that I've created or test opportunities I created. So we've created our tasks here. Now I want to show on the home page, since I've created that task, when I come to the home page, it doesn't show that I have any tasks for today because that one isn't due today. Let me try to edit this real fast. Tasks. See, because I want to show that if I were to change it, well, I guess it's to today. Yeah. Apply date time. There we go. Snooze. So now when I go home on my home page, I will have that task and it will show that it is due today at 12:31. So that's how tasks will show up here as well. And then if I had clicked over here to opportunity tasks, those would show up there as well. So we've gone through a lot of information this morning and we're nearing the end of the content. So I want to take a couple minutes to see what questions you have, if there's any additional information I can share with you before we depart today. I know it was a lot of information, but let me know what questions you have.
I have a question. So, and I think you're going to go into further detail on Tuesday, but under my smart plans, for some reason, I'm only able to click on people plans, and I wanted to do a pre-listing checklist, and it won't allow me to click on listing plans.
So that is because at the moment, people plans are the only ones that we have access to. They're still building out the opportunity plans and the listing plans. Those will probably be out in the next couple months. But they wanted to make sure that as agents are getting more used to smart plans, because they're different than what we were used to in eEdge and setting them up, they wanted to make sure we had some basic ones the most commonly used ones before they started adding out those listing and opportunity plans.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk more about that next Tuesday as well. And I do have a deep dive class, which I actually just did this past Thursday on smart plans. So I'll repeat that in probably like a month or so. So that'll be 1 hour focused on smart plans. Any questions? If not, I will let you guys go and, you know, put 25 minutes back on your calendar for this morning. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And let me know what questions you guys have as you're starting to play around in Command, adding contacts and getting stuff together. I'm here to help in any way that I can.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good one.